some cities with dyke mayors. They spray the pipes major. Don't play with your life, player. Or say the dice player. But if you got a quota, then stay away from tolerance. These bitches are fight promoters. Welcome to the daycare. Welcome to the daycare. Welcome to the daycare. Welcome to the daycare. Train your toddler. Please train your toddler. Whippings, timeouts, take her allowance. Cause or so she will destroy your life if you allow it. Fucking, I'm tired of rapping YOLO. Bring in the choir. Welcome to the daycare. Welcome to the daycare. Welcome to the daycare. Welcome to the daycare.
Why did Daddy say so?
Because we would every night I wanted some boyfriend, so I'm moving out. Okay.
Because Daddy told you can't have a boyfriend in his house? So you're moving out?
Yes.
Whew. What's going on? Welcome to Dirty Folks Daycare. I am your tolerologist. Dirty Folks. I ain't feel like wearing no hat today. And now I look like a bald chick with this do-rag on. This is a protective hairstyle, gentlemen. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna take it off eventually though. My hair's still wet. It's waving up. Anyway, so check this out, guys. I want to take a boring topic and make it not as boring. I've been looking at clips lately from quote unquote black economists, and I've noticed a trend. Whether it's Thomas Sowell, whether it's Dr. Claude Anderson, there's a theme. And the theme is that none of their economics work if you look at it as black economics. But all of their advice works if you look at it as tribal stories, right? Because black is just for women, gays, and felons. The women, gays, and felons ain't never going to do right. They don't have practical minds. And you have to understand that I saw this as a segue, like right after I was watching like The Wire, looking at what's my man name from The Wire? I can't think of his name. But but his name is important for me to tell this parable. So I'm gonna look it up. Stringer Bell. That's his name. Stringer Bell. Stringer Bell was a guy who thought he was smart, but he wasn't. He thought he was a businessman, but people kept getting over on him. He thought he was a gangster, but only when he was sending orders that he wouldn't do. And eventually, it caught up with him. So I'm looking at the Stringer Bell thing because I love that shit. And then I started watching comedy, economic videos. Cause I love that shit. And I saw the parables. The parables were in a static, devoid of all outside influences. It's a lot of stuff that'll work, right? In theory, but it takes away the self, the desires of self, right? It takes away people's passions, what's important to people, right? Like what's important to me. What's important to me is not the money. I need money. Don't get it twisted. Matter of fact, like and sub, pay your daycare fees. But I could have had money. You know how many times these Jews tried to give me $250,000? And I used to tell them all the time, no so organic. Y'all ain't even seen my products on y'all shelves. And we already have a valuation for $2 million. We have a $2 million valuation right now. And you've never seen my products. They always want to give me money. It's not about the money. It's about the power. He who feeds you can starve you. He who pays you is your master. And I don't mind that. I don't mind that. I just want to choose my own master, right? Because I got a dad. He gets on my nerves. I got a dad. He said he's going to loan me. I asked him for $5. He said he'll loan me $200 on Tuesday. Never see him on Tuesday. But I got a dad. When you go out here to get this money from people, they give you a whole list of criteria, the things that you have to do to get the money. Try to fill out a grant for anything, for school, for a nonprofit. They got a whole list. This is what the money's for. This is all you can use it for. They regulate your spending. I don't want to not be able to expand and not be able to pay my people because I took money from somebody who wanted to be my daddy. One of the reasons that the Tories haven't gone further is because they think money is important. But the U.S. Treasury prints money and burns money every day. It's fiat currency. So, this ain't about the money. I listen to economists because I want to understand what had happened in their childhood that got us to this point. I mean, I tell y'all all the time, my story is what got me to this point that I'm like, yo, nothing they say with clothes on matter. But that was a process of listening to them with clothes on and comparing it to when they not, right? So the answers are in the questions, guys. When a person asks you a question, the answer is normally in the question, right? I want to play this clip from Thomas Well. I'm not going to play the whole thing. But I want you guys to hear about his childhood. And this and the link in the description for this whole video. The whole video is like an hour long. It's like 55 minutes. Old man rants. Not even rants, just old man stories. Back in my day, you know. But it's good. It's good content. But it's a particular point we're gonna get into right now. Let's go.
Sleep out on the balconies, and the ones on the first floor who didn't have balconies would sleep out in the yard.
You know what? I wasn't gonna go there, but I think I will. He was talking about how. Let me set this up, because this ain't even what I was gonna set up, but I'm gonna set this up now. He was talking about mentoring schools, which I can identify with, and he was telling kids in Harlem that he used to walk his dog in probably what was one of the most dangerous areas in New York. And they looked aghast, like, oh my God. He was like, but it wasn't that bad when I was young. The problem that old black men have, and this whole week is going to be full of old black men. Like I said, Claude Anderson, Thomas Sowell, we got a few others, is they believe that they're black. I'll go as far as saying they know that they're black. So when they see the changes from a color perspective, from a crayon perspective. They don't see the changes, even though they mention it here and there, like, oh, the government paid women not to be married. They don't understand their import, right? Their importance. You're looking at men, because what's the byproduct? The byproduct of the government paying women not to have men is the men who are eligible to be those pillars of the community move somewhere else, right? It's the yin and the yang, right? Oh, bitch, you don't want me? All right, I'm going to go over there. That's just common sense. It's kind of, shout out to the passport bros. I'm going to just give them a shout out just because. But that's what comes down with that. So, when they talk about economics, they still talk about black people, but they don't understand that these aren't your women. And they never been your women. And they were always part of why you stayed as the second worst. But we're going to get you there. So I'm just going to offer context as he tells the stories. But,
They're better off economically because of what's been given.
Right.
But of course, when you have the crime rate, I mean, I got the first inkling of this some years back when I was at some school in Harlem doing some research. And I looked out the window and I mentioned in passing that when I was a little kid, I used to walk my dog in that park. And looks of horror came over the students' faces. Nobody in his right mind would have a child go into that park, walking a dog or not. The principal was warning these students not to cross this park, which is about a block and a half wide, even in groups of 6. When I told them about how in these hot summer nights I would sleep out on the fire escapes in Harlem, they looked at me like I was a man from Mars. People were doing that all over New York. They were doing it in Philadelphia, Washington, wherever I've known people. That was a common thing for poor people. We didn't have the money for air conditioning.
Right.
You slept out on the fire escape or in the parks. Where Walter grew up
Walter Williams.
Walter Williams grew up in a housing project in Philadelphia. He was saying on the hot summer nights, the people would be in this project would have little balconies. They'd sleep out on the balconies, and the ones on the first floor who didn't have balconies would sleep out in the yard.
Poor people need to normalize being poor. That's what that comes down to, gentlemen. Poor people need to normalize being poor. Not that it's good to be poor. I'm not one of those guys to say money is the root of all evil. I'm not saying that. But I could tell similar stories. I grew up in a lower middle class area. Maybe it was already middle class. I don't know. But we ain't had that 1986 dope money. You know what I mean? And I remember as a kid, we used to ride our bikes places. We used to play basketball on milk crates. We'll grab a piece of some wood we'll find from somewhere and hammer it to the light pole. Then we'll get either a milk crate or a bike ram, and we'll hammer that under the board, and that's our hoop. And there were a lot of different type of basketballs back then. There was that rubber basketball that always got a titty in it. There was leather basketballs. There were suede basketballs. Spalding made a basketball. Wilson made a basketball. They had the NBA official leather basketball with the bumps in it. And whatever ball we had, whether it was a milk crate or a basketball or a bike ram, we would hoop. If somebody had a rollaway or a ram in their backyard, which eventually I did, that would be the homes and away games. We'll go to each other's backyards, have home games and away games. Or we'll pull out 2 rollaway rims in the alley. Because we wouldn't go to the park. We practice in the alley with just the guys in our neighborhood. And we'll have a full court in the alley. About the size of this window. About the size of this video window. And that's our full court. So your handles had to be immaculate. Because there wasn't no side, no corner jumpers or nothing. The corner is a garage on either side. You know what I mean? And that's how we entertained ourselves until we were taught, yo, y'all broke. We broke. We having fun, yo. You come into a situation in which when you're poor and you don't know you're poor, you live comparatively. What I tell y'all all the time about toddlers. Toddlers live comparatively. Men do too, but men live comparatively based on their situation. Women live comparatively based on their aspiration. Let me say that again. Men live comparatively based on their situation. Women live comparatively based on their aspiration. A 15-year-old boy, a 16-year-old boy, a 16-year-old boy with no job is comparing himself to his friend with a part-time job at Popeye's Chicken after school. Right? And if that comparative thought process of how the Popeyes guy has a nice little outfit and eventually he saved up to buy a little $600 box Chevy, it inspires his friends to be like, yo, can you give me a job up there? So they live comparatively to their situation based on their age bracket, their knowledge base, their resources, blah, blah, blah. Women live aspirationally. A 16-year-old girl believes she needs to be on a yacht. She don't know how she gonna get on a yacht. She just knows she need to be in a bikini on a yacht. Cause some girl who ain't as cute as she thinks she is on TV on a yacht. So she should be on a yacht. Do you know how many girls call themselves models? Do you know the criteria for being a model now is not to be a brand ambassador? The criteria now is to take a swimsuit photo and post it on Instagram, and then you tell people you're a model. And people just accept it like, oh, she's a model. I'm like, that's all it takes? You don't need no headshots, no bio, no agency, no particular items that you selling, like you holding up a Coca-Cola, like, look, I'm modeling Coca-Cola. You just take a picture and you're a model. Aspirationally. The reason that I'm showing you this part of Thomas Sowell, and we're not talking the money, we're just talking the background, is because I need you guys to understand that everybody knew they were poor in his peer group, but everybody was poor, so it was no big thing. And everybody says, we're going to make it one day. And those guys started at that step, like, yo, this is what we're going to do. We're going to sell newspapers. We're going to collect cans. We're going to collect bottles. We're going to wash cars. We're going to, from where we are, take people groceries to their car, whatever the case. From where we are, we're going to do our stepping stones until we're in a position to do greater, right? So you look at a situation, even then, the women understood the situation, so they would date the dude who collected cans at 16. Because at 18 or 17, he already had plans. I'm going to go to the military for 2 years, get a GI Bill, come back, go to college. Like, dudes had plans for their life, and the plans for their life came from other dudes, right? Like, this is how you get it. So, I say all that to say this. As he's telling this story, you got to understand he's telling it from a male perspective. Because regardless of how people feel about black men who read above a 6th grade level, there's nothing coonish about growing up in the projects, getting some money, and moving to a place that you can afford in order to do better in your life. Only niggas say to keep it real is to be poor and kill each other and steal and not trust your brethren and don't look out for people. Nigga, feed the pack, man. Tribe up. Anyway, let's go back to this, because now we at the part that I want to talk about in the first place.
And that there were old men who you could see sit on a hot summer night, sitting outdoors into the wee hours playing cards or checkers or whatever. It was a different world.
It was a safe world.
And it was infinitely safer.
Now, what about family structure, Tom? Again, I'm quoting you. Most black children were being raised in 2-parent families in 1960. 30 years after the liberal welfare state, the great majority of black children were being raised by single parents.
Yes.
How does that? By the way, we should note that Patrick Moynihan publishes the Moynihan Report in 1965.
Yes.
And he's alarmed because the illegitimacy rate among black families is 25% then. Now, among whites, it's over a third.
Yes.
Hispanics, it's over half. And among African Americans, it's over 70%. What's going on there?
Well, this is, this...
Pause. I just want to say something real quick. I ain't gonna hold y'all, because I want to get back to this. Yo, them always look all right, check this out. So, he was talking about in 1965, the illegitimacy rate for black America was 25%. 1 out of 4 of these goofy bitches was single moms. In 1965, y'all keep talking about 1955, when the marriage rate was like 93%, 98%, whatever. These toddlers are built for dysfunction. You gotta understand that, right? So what the civil rights movement was really a women's rights movement. And women wanted the right to bust it wide open and get abortions and shit like that. So as soon as the Woodstock era happened, these bitches was getting knocked up at a phenomenal rate. A phenomenal rate. I remember in the 1980s, it was taboo to be a single mother. Still. Like, people pitied you. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my God, how's she gonna make it in life? These bitches was doing that shit intentionally. They was just wilding out, man. Doing it for the gram. It wasn't even no gram yet. They was doing it for Woodstock. Getting prepared to teach their daughters to do it for Freaknik. Shout out to Freaknik, man. Shout out to Freaknik. Shout out to all of y'all who think y'all daddies ain't shit because y'all from Detroit, but your mama got knocked up from a nigga from Galveston, Texas on a 2-day busted wide open spree. You know what I'm saying? Y'all mama ain't shit, but y'all blame y'all daddy. That's matriarchy Stockholm syndrome for your ass right there. Anyway, I just wanted to put that out there. That women were at a 25% as soon as they didn't need a man, quote unquote. As soon as the government said, yo, I'll give you a block of welfare cheese, boom, single moms overnight. And now they at 80%, and they still talking about how hard it is to be a single mother. Well, bitch, stop being a single mother, you goofy bitch. You keep having abortions by the niggas that want kids. You keep having kids by one night stands. Bitch, you want to be a single mom. Girls are dumb. Girls are just, if they got on clothes, they lying. That's all I'm saying, bro. But anyway, let's go back.
Too, you find the same thing in Britain. You find it in France and Norway. You find it in the Western world. In fact,
The dissolution of the family structure.
Oh yeah, there are any number of Western nations where 40% of the children are raised with only one parent.
Right.
At the extremes, compared to Asian countries, at the extremes, Iceland, it's 2 out of 3 children born are raised in a single parent home. In South Korea, it's 1 out of 66.
Wow.
Okay, wait. Let's break this down. I want to bring it back to what he just said, and it's gonna blend into what Blexit comment was. Let's go back to what he just said, and it's gonna blend into Blexit comment.
Family structure.
Oh yeah, there are any number of Western nations where 40% of the children are raised with only one parent.
Right.
At the extremes, compared to Asian countries, at the extremes, Iceland, it's 2 out of 3 children born are raised in a single parent home. In South Korea, it's 1 out of 66.
Stop. I'm gonna address 2 things at one time. Blexit comment was that was only among the sharecropper class. The middle and upper class blacks still had intact families. That's still the case. That's still the case, bro. The problem is that the younger you had kids, and the more women that who find comfort in having a kid and not needing no man, they sign up for poverty. They sign up for slavery, right? So those people are perpetually poor until they get one kid that can catch a basketball or a football, and he tries to minstrel himself out of poverty, right? I stopped watching the show I Am Athlete maybe 2 years ago when Marshall said that they had like the poverty Olympics, bro. It was bananas. It was all 3. All of them was on there. Everybody except Chad Johnson, right? I call him Chad Del Cinco sometimes, but everybody except Chad Johnson. All 4 of them was on there telling poverty stories. Fred Taylor was like, man, no, it started off with Brandon Marshall. Brandon Marshall, like, it was 6 of us in a 1-bedroom, room, and the bathroom was down the hall. Fred Taylor was like, hold my beer, nigga. It was 7 of us. It was me, my mama, my grandmama, and 4 siblings living in a tent. And we had to go to the bathroom in the outhouse. Like, and then the other dude, he had their little shit. Chad Ochocinco, man. For Chad Johnson's credit, Chad Johnson was the only one that could admit his mama ain't shit. Everybody else is really saying, man, my mama ain't shit. But they're so programmed because of the Stockholm syndrome. They're like, yo, my mom really loved me. She was working 2 jobs and we still lived in a tent. And I was like, I had to make it pro because I got to take care of my siblings. Only Chad was like, yo, my mama wasn't shit, yo. He ain't even call her mama, though. He called her by her first name. Whatever her name was. I'm going to call her Beverly. That's not her name, but I'm going to call her Beverly. Like, Beverly wasn't shit. My grandma took care of me. Beverly never wanted me. And Chad never really had interaction with them cats. Because Chad is like, bro. Because I could tell Chad wanted to be like, yo, y'all mamas wasn't shit. How was this? How did you have 5 siblings by 8 different niggas and you think your mama was a stand-up bitch? Like, you could tell Chad wanted to say that. But the fact that they're both right. So you look at a country like America or France or Britain, or his example was Iceland. He could have said Holland as well. When you in nations like Iceland and Holland, look at their social service structure. Like they tax you at anywhere between a 40 to a 51% tax bracket, and they have all these social services to protect women, but they don't protect women from themselves. Then you look at somewhere like South Korea, ain't no welfare, yo. You gonna eat this rice or you ain't gonna eat. And women don't, they're prone not to be as reckless with their ovaries, right? They still busting, but they're not getting pregnant. China the same way. You know what I'm saying? That's why he said except those Asian countries. Asian countries ain't going. It's there are documentaries of women in China who try that liberal, educated woman shit and get shunned. It was like, okay, you got a degree, but you don't have a husband. And you got a degree in silly girl shit like fucking psychology or social services or some stupid shit. We don't care. So unless you're about to, join Greenpeace, you got a useless ass degree and you still ain't got a husband. And now here you are, 32 years old with no husband, but you tried to listen to them goddamn Karens. So not only do you not have a husband, but you got a 6-year-old child. I don't want you. They have a road. It's not Skid Row, but it's damn near like it's like Skid Row for single women out in Asia. They don't play that shit because there's no safety net for a goofy bitch. The reason that the passport bros are so comfortable buying prostitutes in other countries, they swear to God they're not prostitutes. But yet and still somehow you fuck this bitch the second day and you think she waiting for you to come back 3 months later. Like her neighbor don't want that pussy too. But like my man Goodbread said the other day, passport bros is catfishing for guys. So shout out to that. But bro, it's because there's no safety nets. When you don't have safety nets, women sell you what you want instead of selling what they got. Right? And you go for what you want instead of what they got. McDonald's has a decent menu of bullshit food. But they sell you what they got. They got burgers. And breaded and other assorted breaded meats and french fries. That's what they got. Breaded chicken, breaded fish, burgers, french fries. They sell you what they got. You can want filet mignon, and you can go to McDonald's and you can curse out the motherfuckers. Let me see the manager. You're not going to get filet mignon from McDonald's. They don't sell you what you want if that's what you want. They sell you what they got. You got McDonald's bitches because you don't train your toddlers. Girls don't know shit. They just do shit. The only thing they know is what they taught. So they go get a degree in dumb shit so they can be dumber bitches. And then they regurgitate what they taught and they show you a piece of paper, say, yo, I learned how to do dumb shit. And they want to be revered for that. You should be congratulating them for being a toddler. Train your toddlers, man. So that's the base of that. But yeah, so basically, most middle class and upper middle class families and upper class families are nuclear families because they're trained. Those toddlers are trained. Because if you have an untrained toddler, her job is to make sure that you're the worst so she can be second worst. So no matter how great you are, you can have a $36 an hour job, buy this bitch a house, buy this bitch a Buick, because you got to have matching Buicks. And as soon as she get upset, she going to take your house, your car, make you lose your job, have you back in your grandma's basement while she said she could do bad by herself on your money. But as more fucked up you are, the less she get, because girls are just destructive by nature if you don't train them. So poverty is rampant because the girls are dumb. But when you listen to these black economists, they talk about black people. They never talk about the source, which is goofy, dumb bitches. Because you will not fuck with a goofy dude. You won't let a goof troop fuck up your bread. Nigga, take this 8 long because you take long. You feel me? You feel what I'm saying? You're not gonna give a kilo to a 10-sack mover because he can't move to work. You know how to vet men, but y'all don't know how to vet and train these toddlers. They your generational curse. They will fuck up everything. Anyway, but let's get back to this strong arm economy talk.
Wow. And so, what? That's the welfare state? What?
Yes,
it is.
Oh, you're paying. You're creating a situation where if the first of all, you're creating a situation where if the man stays there, the government will not give the woman welfare, and if he leaves, it will. And so they're paying. When you pay people not to get married, more people don't get married.
Right, right.
That's facts. Let's take this quick break and we're going to come right back to Thomas Sowell because I got another clip I want to show you guys.
Dirty folks. Dirty folks. Dirty folks. No shizzle. No shizzle.
Toddler tales are crazy stories that could only happen to me. Each tale is endorsed by Toddlerology and the Marry Your Secretary courses. In a world where toddlers are only loyal to her employer, learn the skills needed to train your toddler to work at your relationship like she works at her job. There's courses for every level of your relationship status, including polygamy. Need support? Join scheduled study groups with other Toddlerology members. Click the link below. And now, back to today's story. Alright guys, we're going to get back to this Thomas Sowell. Wait, that ain't what I want to do. We're going to get back to this Thomas Sowell, but I want to show you guys some cuckold shit in the meanwhile. Well, I don't think it's cuckold. I think that the answer is always in the question. The answer is always in the question. This came on my timeline earlier today, and it's a show from Anthony Spade. And Anthony Spade was looking at people who some show about couples, and there was a husband who didn't understand how to vet his wife, and Anthony was playing both sides. And the issue that I have when I'm playing both sides is talks like a colored. I know what he's saying, and I know a lot of you guys will agree with what he's saying because y'all don't think tribal, but I'm going to get y'all there. I'm going to get y'all tribal. Because once you hear this tribally, it defeats the purpose. And all these red pill niggas also think like they the only good man. They don't think tribally. They don't think that all men are awesome. But I'm going to get you there. Y'all going to hit us in such a way. When I break down the breakdown, y'all will see that even though he's right for the wrong reason, and how quick it is to switch the shit. Because all these bitches want to be slaves. They all want to be in poverty. Keep telling y'all, it's a 10-year waiting list to be on Section 8 and be perpetually poor. They want to be slaves. They want to be under a logo and feel secure under that logo. I'm going to get y'all there. We're going to have hella secretaries. I'm going to have a couple slaves, but y'all going to have secretaries. We're going to work it out. So it don't even really matter where I start from because this whole shit is goofy and I ain't going to watch the whole thing anyway. But this from the Anthony Spade show, man. So shout out to Anthony Spade. Wait, maybe I should unmute it. That probably help.
Bill for everything that you do. So if
That's the exact line I wanted on. I got so lucky. All right, so here we go.
They're working every day, so they're tired. That's why I don't want to cook. Yeah.
he's making
Wait. I'm going to take it back a little bit more so you can hear the initial question, but really it's Anthony Spade's response that I want to address. So let's go.
Of working. It's not hard. I mean, that shouldn't even be like, I don't even understand the question. Like, they're tired. Aren't you tired when you get home from work?
They're working.
The original question was, does your wife cook or clean the house? And he's like, nah, he cooked. They got 5 kids. He do the cooking. And he's saying because she's tired when she come home from work. Which negates the fact that he works too and he's tired and he still cook. But I digress because, Tyler's going to toddle. And some of these niggas is toddlers too. But that's the original question. Does your wife have any relationship roles? Does she cook? Right?
Every day, so they're tired. That's why I don't want to cook.
Yeah.
he's making sense. You got to realize the guy that he's talking to that's scratching his head right now, he's been married for 20 years. So in America, it is easy. Well, let me take that back. In foreign countries, it's easy for you to get married and the wife actually stays at home and be a housewife because it's more affordable. You have less people and you have less going on. But when it comes to America, there's a bill for everything that you do. So it forces most families to have the man and the woman work in order to survive.
Okay, here's the problem I have with that. Number one, just a sidebar. Don't he look like the dude in the little lower right corner? Don't he kind of look like Reggie Miller slash how my man looked on the set on Seven? Remember the movie Seven about the seven deadly sins? When they found, like, he don't have no eyebrows, no hair, no facial. He probably ain't got no fingernail prints, bro. Like, he's a scary looking dude. But in addition to that, hold on, man. Let me cam for this. Let me explain something to y'all, bro. Anthony Spade said about three incorrect things at one time. About three incorrect things at one time. As a matter of fact, I should rewind it so I can break down each one of them as he says them, because hold on, Freeman. I'm gonna address you. Let's address the three things he said wrong already.
I mean, that shouldn't even be like, I don't even understand the question. Like, they're tired. Aren't you tired when you get home from work?
They're working every day, so they're tired.
Like Lurch. Yeah, like Lurch.
Yeah.
He's making sense. You got to realize the guy that he's talking to that's scratching his head right now, he's been married for 20 years. So, in a
pause. Strike one. Don't listen to dudes who've been married to a Keisha for more than 15 years. Don't listen to them. If they've been married to a Keisha, I'm not saying if they've been married. They've been married to a Keisha for more than 15 years. They have already castrated themselves a long time ago, somewhere between 1968 to 2010. They had already been castrated themselves. So don't listen to these niggas because they dying to floss. That's strike one. But
in America, it is easy. Well, let me take that back. In foreign countries, it's easy for you to get married and the wife actually stays at home and be a housewife because it's more affordable. You have less people and you have...
Pause. Strike two. When you're in a foreign country, it's not easier to get married. It's essential to get married because women can't survive on their own and because they don't have the technology. Women in America are only able to be quote unquote independent because of the great strides in technology that men made during the industrial age. Right? You don't realize how much of your everyday stuff brings their quote unquote independence, right? Whether it's the washing machine, whether it's all this fast food, whether it's a whole bunch of a plethora of things, right? That's number two. So, and it's not more affordable. So that's really 2A. The easier is 2B. 2A is it's not more affordable. They don't have no fucking bread. When you go out the country, for those of you who've been out the country, have you ever been to the currency exchange? $1 is 36 pesos. $1 is 200 Jamaican dollars. $1 is $1.50 in Canada, because Canada's on the rise, bro. Y'all sleeping on Canadian. But when I was a kid, $1 American was $2.25 Canadian. We used to go to Ontario, Canada, because it's right connected to Detroit. And they used to fuck around in Detroit with them raggedy ass niggas just shady Chicago niggas. But anyway, I used to go to Detroit and we'll take the tunnel to Canada because you didn't need a passport then. We talking before the Patriot Act. And we'll go to the casinos, and the casino, you give them American dollar, and you give them $20 American, they give you $44 in Canadian chips, right? In Canadian money. So everybody has a different exchange rate. It's not that it's cheaper to live anywhere. It's just that you have the British pound, and low key, you got the Chinese yen, low key. But the China is intentionally keeping their money down. They're devaluing their own money so they don't get charged as much on the international stock exchange. So that's smart on their part. But low key though, The yen is number 2, but they playing with it. And so technically the US dollar is number 2, right? So if you have a British pound or a US dollar or low key a Chinese yen, your money is worth more in those places. It's not that the cost of living in those places are cheap. It's not cheap for the people there. You feel what I'm saying? If you would go, the only equivalent you have is Britain. If you went to Britain with your $100 and they cashed you out for $55, you'll be like, God damn, I can't buy nothing. It's not cheap. It's how much your money is worth. Give you another example of why America is more expensive. Because these whores are horrible and everybody lazy and they don't teach their kids shit, so their kids don't know shit. So I'll give you an example. I complain all the time because I eat chicken. I buy tacos for the hoes, but I eat chicken. And all I eat is chicken because red meat is, fucks with my stomach. Probably all the steroids they put in it. But when I eat chicken, and I eat chicken daily, my G, chicken wings cost at the cheapest $18. I'm paying $22 for chicken wings, B. I'm mad as shit. $22 for 10 chicken wings. That is, let's say $20. Let's keep it even. $20 for 10 chicken wings is $2 a wing, my nigga. And they ain't not seasoned, fried, nothing. When I was a kid, we used to get 3 wings for 99 cents. It was 3 wings for $1 when I was a kid. Now I'm paying $2 per wing. Per wing. If I want somebody to season it and fry it for me, they want $9 at Harold's for 3 wings. It cost me $6 plus seasoning, grease, flour, for me to cook 3 wings. They want $9 at Harold's to cook me 3 wings. 3 wings. But they sell a whole chicken for $4. It's 2 wings on the chicken already. Plus the breast, the legs, the thighs. $4 for a whole chicken. $20 for chicken wings. Your convenience service fees are bananas because y'all don't know how to do shit. Y'all don't know how to cut up your own chicken. The equivalent for me to pay that same $20, I can get 5 whole chickens. Think about that, bro. 4 times 5 is 20. I can get 5 whole chickens and cut the wings off each of the chickens and have 10 chicken wings. Plus 5 breasts, 10 thighs, 5 backs. You feel what I'm saying? The service fees is killing you because these bitches don't know shit. They just do shit. And you don't know shit. And the guys who do know shit ain't tripping because they'll just buy 5 chickens if they wanted 10 chicken wings. Honestly, they'll buy 5 whole chickens and they'll feed the block, nigga. You'll throw cookouts with your friends. Your friends will think you the shit. Like, yo, let me get a wing. Like, it's nothing, my nigga. Shout out to $4 whole chickens. Shout out to $4 whole chickens. Fuck $20 chicken wings. But this is what you go through, right? This is what you go through. Now, I'm about to get to number 3, because I know you're finna say it. I don't want to speedball it.
Less going on. But when it comes to America, there's a bill for everything that you do. So it forces most families to have the man and the woman work in order to survive, which is why the Western world is different.
No, Western world ain't different. It doesn't... It doesn't change. Okay, check this out. The reason America is more expensive is because women work. Not that women have to work because America is expensive. That's a false causation. That's secondhand woman worship. when America only had men working and women in the home, you can even tell by the advertisement. I'm gonna see if I can find one of these old school ads. I know the first ad I saw was for a Westinghouse washer. I remember that shit. I'm not gonna show the ad because I got a feeling that Westinghouse will try to demonetize me. Because is Westinghouse still even a thing? Honestly, like, are they even still a thing? But this is an ad from 1947. Can I make it bigger? Yeah, I can make it bigger. Hold on. This is an ad from 1947, but they have ads that go all the way back to the late 1920s, early 1930s. And the entire ad is convincing men to buy his wife a washing machine. And they had a whole plethora of home, cleaning products, the vacuum cleaner, refrigerators. Westinghouse was doing their thing. Living room suits, bedroom suits. This is what Westinghouse was known for. Westinghouse was known for using technology in such a way that they were putting small motors and other things and calling them appliances and selling motorized appliances to families. I rebuke you, Richard. Anyway, so my point is, what these manufacturers wanted to do was they wanted to take the decision making away from men for their wives and allow women to purchase their own items, which in the short run for the items that they had made sense. It was practical. Men were with it. But once women started getting money, and they still needed men because men were still paying for women's time and attention, they doubled up on the price of everything. Right? Everything just doubled arbitrarily. Right? And now they're saying that you need 2 incomes to make it. But you didn't until women worked, and you still may need 2 incomes, but that second income doesn't have to be a woman's. Let me say that again. Even if you need 2 incomes, that secondary income does not have to be a woman's. To combine 2 of anything in order to create one goal is leverage, right? It's leverage. It's you not being able to pick up a refrigerator by yourself, but you're using a dolly for leverage. Or if you don't have a dolly, you grabbing your homeboy and both of y'all pick up one side and move it. Leverage. Equal leverage. But the refrigerator is still a refrigerator. It should still function the way it's supposed to function. The refrigerator shouldn't have to be asked like, yo, you just by yourself, I'm going to help you move me. I'm going to help you move me, and I'm going to do my original goal and task, right? It's not how it works. So, tribing up kind of alleviates that issue. Make sure y'all like and sub as y'all come in. Pay their care fees. What is it? I don't even know that person. But let's go back to Thomas Sowell. We got about 3 more minutes of time, and then I'm gonna shut this down.
Okay, so what would have happened if Lyndon Johnson, instead of becoming a liberal, had remained a crusty, tough, skeptical Texas conservative,
yes,
which is certainly the way he started his career. If Lyndon Johnson had embraced the constrained vision instead of instituting the war on poverty and the Great Society and so forth, what would the country look like today?
A lot better. You would not have the same rates of crime and so on. Because, you see, you can't have a welfare state in a democratic country unless you first have a welfare state vision. And when you buy all the assumptions of that vision, then you're buying a lot of trouble. One of the episodes I think epitomized it was in France in this case, that there were knife attacks by various people from North Africa against Chinese people in some suburb of Paris. And one of the things that the attackers said, that why are you attacking the Chinese? And it wasn't because of anything the Chinese had done to them. He said they have nice clothes and big cars.
Pause. I want to address that real quick because that's your white supremacy in a nutshell. Before I say that though, shout out to XL Pro for the $5 cash app. Shout out to Freeman's Journal for the $5 cash app. Shout out to Zone for the $2 cash app. Shout out to Mitch for the $1.07 cash app. 7-cent tax, bro. That's what's up, bro. That's what's up. Okay, so here's the thing with that. Northern Africans attacking Chinese citizens in France just by itself is a wild ass combination, right? But the reason being is because they think that the Chinese people who moved to France have a better life than they do, even though they were colonized by France. All those Moors, all the Moroccans, they were colonized by France. France takes all the natural resources and tells them what to do, but that's why they got free reign to go to France, because they damn near French the way France be tackling. They're not against the French people. They're against the others. In this case, the others are the Asians. And when asked why they're against the Asians who bust their ass to come to France, because they look like they have a better life. In general, people are matriarchal. But what I tell you guys all the time, 90% of the shit y'all blame on white supremacy is really toddler. This racism is this shit. Do people think they're supreme over you? No. The only white people who think they're supreme over you simply for being white are trailer park people. Because they need something to hold on to. Because they the worst and they just want to be second worst, just like Keisha. But generally speaking, no ethnic group thinks they're better, just intrinsically better than any other ethnic group, just for being an ethnic group. They think their culture is better. But even in America, people look at tawny and swarthy people of different nationalities and think other national cultures are better. When I go to any hospital, it's nothing but Kenyans and Nigerians working in that. There's very few American heterosexual black men working in hospitals. But you count because y'all colorists. Y'all not nationalists or culturalists or tribalists. Lord knows. Unless y'all in the gang. Shout out to dudes that grew up in the gang, because at least y'all know about special handshakes and killing for the logo. But generally speaking, y'all just go off a crayon. So y'all think y'all have a yin and yang. Y'all think it's cool that black people work at the hospital, but then y'all envy the fact and y'all think it's something wrong because only Kenyans and Nigerians work at the hospital, but they still technically black because you think in color and not in nationality or culture. There's people that think their culture is better. The Nigerians and Kenyans don't talk to American blacks because they think their culture is better. So, imagine that you are a Northern African and you're attacking an Asian in France. Nigga, what? That is, if you turned them into cats, that would be the plot of Thundercats. Low key, that would be the plot of Thundercats. If you turn them into cat people, that would be the plot of Thundercats. It's just crazy. Like the sub, pay your dickhead fees. You guys are the reason I showed you this, and the reason I'm gonna let like one more minute play before I shut down. But the reason I want to show you guys this is because, once again, when you're talking economics, you're only talking men. Women spend. That's their job, because it has to suck to be a woman. It has to. It's just too much pressure to always get custody. Niggas pay your way. You ain't gotta fuck them, but they'll feed you. You can be as disrespectful and belligerent in public as you want. You can attack people and expect not to get hit back. You can curse out all authority figures. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do. Being omnipotent must be miserable. Not being able to be homeless must be a miserable existence. So they gotta spend money because they feel empty inside, which makes sense because their whole body is a series of holes to be filled by something. So it must feel empty. So women are the biggest consumers. That's whenever they say they doing them, they really doing dicks. They doing somebody else. Anytime they say they know they worth, they just bought something. They never know they worth and was like, yo, I am, right? As Joshua said, I am. Right? Like I had whole shit. I'd be like, nigga, I'm old. Like my man on the wire be like, my name is my name. Like, just the knowing yourself and being comfortable with you, being able, no matter where you go, you fill the room because you comfortable with you. Fuck that. This is the Flintstones and the Jeffersons and the Jetsons. The Flintstones and the Jetsons. Charge it. The more I buy, the more my worth is, because all their worth is external. They need other people to validate their worth, because Tyler's gonna title, right? And they do all that shit just so they can come outside naked and fight in the middle of the street. They ain't even need clothes, but they buy them anyway, just to have worth, right? Anyway, let's get to this last minute. Before we do, let's take this quick. Hey everybody. So, what's up? Why not showing my stuff? Whatever. There you go. Bam. I still ain't figured out how to use my wheel yet. So I keep clicking it, but nothing keep happening. But I want to figure out what y'all gonna win. But make sure y'all send y'all 1 minute clips in. We're gonna put your name in the hat. As a matter of fact, I got all the ones from last week. I'm gonna put their name in the hat today. We're gonna do that drawing tomorrow. I still don't know what y'all gonna win, because I still ain't figured out how to spin my little wheel. I'm gonna try to click it again. Spin, little wheel. Our little wheel don't spin. It's a sucky little wheel. Flea market ass wheel. But we're gonna work it out. Y'all gonna win something. Anyway, let's get back to it. Alright guys, so let's check this last minute out, and then we're gonna shut it down.
That's not fair. I mean, that's, egalitarianism as a philosophy is one thing, but the actual consequences of it mean things like resenting other people's good fortune.
Right. All right. So, one response to the gap. Again, I return to this gap between African Americans and other Americans. Affirmative action.
Yes.
Which brings us back to your alma mater, Harvard. According to
I'll never live it down.
You'll never live it down, yes. You once told me that the principal benefit of a Harvard degree was never again having to be impressed by anybody who had a Harvard degree. Is that right?
Absolutely.
All right. So these are figures that were published in the Harvard Crimson, the student newspaper. In the Harvard class of 2019, these are the kids who will be graduating next June, the average SAT score for black students was 2149. By the way, these are all good scores, but for black students, 2149, white students, 2218, Asian students, 2300. Well, now that must be reasonable because it's taking place at Harvard, the seat of reason.
Well, that wasn't quite how I described it when I was there.
Affirmative action. Is that we ought not to be doing this?
You know, there are various laws and policies that benefit one group at the expense of another. But I think affirmative action has the distinction of being one that it harms everybody, though in different ways. And so there's a lot of evidence that there are black kids who have all the qualifications to be successes in college, who nevertheless are failures because they are systematically mismatched with institutions whose standards they don't meet.
Pause. Check this out. I'm gonna let him keep rocking. I'm gonna finish this meeting. But I got a story. No, I got a story. I missed the first break for the first story, but shout out to Clarence Thomas. Clarence Thomas been against affirmative action for 25 years. I remember being a kid thinking, because everybody was talking about he a coon or whatever, and I was like, yeah, because affirmative action. But now that I'm older, I was like, yo, it's just for women, gays, and felons, yo. Affirmative action is only for women, gays, and felons. It's not for heterosexual, tawny, and swarthy men. There's a guy right now who reads at a third grade level who couldn't get a job. Went in the streets, did a murder, came home 11 years later, got the exact same job he was unqualified for before he did a crime because of affirmative action. Because it's all about checking a box, right? And being a felon and more than likely getting your degree while you're in college. While you're in jail. Being a felon and having a degree checks 2 more boxes. But really it's the felon box that they want because corporations act just like black women. Hold on, I'm going to say this real quick. Corporations act just like black women. In the auspice of this. Everybody wants you to be great as an abstract. They want you to be great as an abstract. But in reality, they want to control you. They want you to be their slave. I've told you before stories about girls who thought I was a killer and dumped me because I didn't have a parole officer. Because she couldn't figure out if she disrespected me, how she'd be able to get me off her ass. Those jobs are the same way. I had a job, pandemic job, true story. Before we started the call center. We didn't even start the call center. Because first I was subcontracting with a call center. Before, they let me get my own contract. So while I was before I even subcontracted, they wanted X amount of dollars. And I was waiting for my PPP loan, all that shit. And I had one of my homeboys. Dude I grew up with. He was like, man, he worked at Burger King. He was a manager at Burger King, a privately owned Burger King. Like the owner owned like 3 locations. Most of Burger Kings are franchised out there. There's very few corporate Burger Kings. Anyway, they wanted to give him a different store and pull him up to regional. And he came to me one day. He was like, yo, you ever work fast food? I'm like, nah, bro. He's like, not even in high school? I'm like, not even in high school, bro. He was like, well, man, you my mans, I want to pull you in. And I want to, train. Give me 3 months, bro. And I want you to run this store. I'm going to get another store. Then I'm going to be district. I said, bro, this during the pandemic, too. So I'm like, I ain't doing shit. Ain't nobody outside. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, I'll fuck with you. You my mans. That shit lasted 2 weeks. And I'm going to tell you why. When he brought me in, he had a bunch of goofy black bitches who don't want to work, want to suck dick on the clock, shut down the whole store when he ain't there so they can fuck their boyfriend in the bathroom. Just dumbass bitches. And the reason I really couldn't, he was like, man, I just need you to be my eyes and ears. I don't trust these motherfuckers. But he playing both sides because he trying to fuck the bitches and put the bitches in a position of authority thinking he gonna get some pussy by promoting them. When I could have told him, that's how you don't get pussy. You fuck first. You fuck her to get a promotion. You don't promote her then ask for pussy. That's not how life works. But that's my nigga, but he ain't never been good with girls. And after the first week, and I ain't really work like that. I only work like 2 days a week. But after that first week, the bitch he was trying to make assistant manager who Spidey wanted me to take, this bitch was acting rah-rah, and I'm like, yo, I ain't fucking with this bitch. By the second week, I'm like, yo, this bitch so disrespectful, nigga, fuck you. Like, it's already that shit going on. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to help you out, my nigga. Because I want my guys to be great. You know what I'm saying? And plus, and I also was like, waiting for that PPP, and I owe for my license. I got my license back, though. Shout out to me, man. I finally got my driver's license back during that point in time. But anyway, this motherfucker's all $6,000, man. Anyway, so as the story progresses, though, the bitch thought I was a felon. She thought she could say or do whatever the fuck she wanted to say and do because I'm swole and because, you know what I'm saying, I ain't no teenager. Like, this supposed to be an after-school job. She don't know that that's my man's. She don't know that I'm here to help. He ain't telling her because he wanted to be the secret, what they call it, like the secret shopper boss thing. He wanted me to be and I'm like, yo, bro, you got shit fucked up, B. Like, man, this ain't even me anyway. I was trying to help you out, but you run a horrible ship. You're not a leader. You just a nigga with a job, but I wish you the best. So I probably worked 4 days out that 2 weeks, and I was like, man, B, we good. You know what I'm saying? But that's the thing. Like, these bitches they really try to put men in a position that wherever you go, motherfuckers could tell you. That was the beginning. Remember the beginning of Scarface? When Scarface, when Tony Montana first moved to America, and they was treating him like shit because all the people that worked in that little restaurant was on probation, and like, bro, that shit be real. So that's why men that come home from jail can get a job quicker than you can, even if you qualify. Anyway, but that's the knock on affirmative action. The knock on affirmative action is you can't get what. Here's the second thing, because now he's talking about the criteria to get into a college. So me being a smart kid, I used to my hustle when I was like 19. Yeah, about 19. I was already out of high school. I was rolling with this booster, right? So whoever they were flying me all across the country to take the SAT for people. Because, you know, niggas could hoop. They be Mr. Michigan, Mr. Arizona, whatever the case may be. And they highly recruited, but these boys can't read. So when it's time to take the SAT test, they would fail. So eventually they stopped letting the boys take the SAT test. They would pay me and fly me around the country to take the test for them, right? Which was easy back then because they'd let anybody take the SAT test. So all you do is give them your ID. No, both of y'all register at the same time, and then y'all switch tests. So you taking their test for them, they taking your test for you. It don't matter if you fail because I had never taken the SAT. I took the ACT. I didn't even study for that shit. I got like a 33 on my ACT. So I don't give a fuck about the SAT because you only need, that's, you know what I'm saying, whatever. So I was taking people SATs for them so they could be eligible to play basketball in college or football or whatever. So when you go through this testing process, it doesn't ensure that even though a person can pass from high school to college, that based on test scores, that means that they have the aptitude to complete college, right? Because you don't have to really worry about that part, because college, they'll give you 0-0 classes. They'll give you remedial classes just to keep your GPA up, especially if you're an athlete. You just got to get in. But just because you depending on what type of school you go to, just because you have certain skill sets in high school, it doesn't transfer to every college. And that is another problem with affirmative action. So Clarence Thomas was right, but I don't want to speedball because he's gonna say something about that. So yeah, pay your daycare fees. Like and sub as y'all come in. Like and sub is free. But let him finish the sentence. It just crossed my mind as he was saying this shit.
Even though they may meet the standards of 80 or 90% of the colleges in America. I remember first aware of this when I was teaching at Cornell, and I found that half the black students at Cornell were on some kind of academic probation. And so I went over to the administration building and looked up the SATs of these students. The average black student at Cornell at that time scored at the 75th percentile.
Which is pretty darn good.
Yes. And so that means that in most colleges in this country, they would have no trouble, and many of them would be on the dean's list. But at Cornell, the average liberal arts student at that time was in the 99th percentile. And when you're teaching the students like that, you teach at a pace that most people of any race cannot keep up with. And it was always complained that I was assigning all kinds of reading, but heck.
That's all I want to say about that. Look, here's how that works. 70% of Americans are functional illiterates. You don't need to be smart to even be rich in America. You just have to work hard, have courage, have dexterity. Some of the smartest people in America are employees, right? They work in research and development for companies, for pharmaceutical companies, for technology companies, because they don't have the aptitude to run personnel, to know advertising, marketing, because the way their mind works, they can't figure out day-to-day stuff. There's a lot of people that are absolutely brilliant that forget to wash up on a daily basis. Like simple shit, forget to eat. Just because you're brilliant doesn't mean that you are a world breaker. It just means that you're brilliant at that particular thing. So those guys that were in the 75th percentile, they could have been on the dean's list at a state university. Anything state, right? State university. But there's only 10 real universities. There's only 10, but they call them Ivy Leagues. There's only 10 Ivy Leagues. So, and a couple of them are borderline. Like Northwestern University is borderline Ivy League. MIT is borderline Ivy League. Then you get the Cornells, the Harvards, the Oxfords, things of that nature. And that's a whole different paradigm. But they train them to do different stuff. They do not train them to be world breakers. Those are R&D colleges. Those are the colleges that may cure cancer one day. They very well. A student from, I'll say Harvard, why not? A student from Harvard or Oxford, Oxford's more of a medical. A student from Oxford may cure cancer one day. But when they cure cancer, even if they're allowed to own the patent, which is 60-40, they're going to do it for Baxter or for Johnson & Johnson. They're not going to be that world breaker. Like, I started my own company and I cure cancer. That's not what college is not built for that. College is built to stimulate you academically. There's a lot of academic people who you do not want to have lunch with. Like, what the fuck is you talking about? It's like talking to a Keisha. Like, all you know is what was in that book. You don't know anything about life. Like, nothing. You have no other interest, no nothing. But they take pride in that. They think everybody else who knows how to change a flat tire are the little people. So a lot of times the things that you are aspiring to be is based on great marketing. Anyway, so we go back to the theme of this before I bounce out. So the theme is the poor needs to know that they poor. When men know that they poor, they pull together and make shit happen. Have you ever noticed? Have you ever noticed that you've never seen I got it out the mud story from a toddler? Shout out to Chris for the $3 cash app. You notice you ain't never seen that story from a toddler. You hear that got it out the mud story from guys, right? Because girls aren't expected to be down that long, right? Because women don't conceptualize like that. And especially now because of social media, especially since 2010, 2011, even fat, ugly chicks think they should be treated like you treat dimes. But that's only on the internet, because in the real life, they know goddamn well they have no shot in hell with like 99% of niggas. Unless he homeless. They'll get a homeless nigga. Cute homeless dude, just need a place to stay because it's cold in the wintertime? Maybe. But it ain't that, bro. It ain't that. So, you gotta let people live in a delusion. Social media is a delusion for toddlers and incels. It's a delusion. It's a place in which people can say what they want to say without penalty, right? In the real world, it's a place that girls can say things without penalty. So, a guy on the internet feels like an average everyday girl. A girl on the internet pumps it up 10 times higher because now she has her own delusional world, which is a different delusional world on every social media platform. We talked about this before. She want to be a wife on Facebook. She want to be a hooker on Instagram. She want to be a fitness instructor on Snapchat. She want to be a comedian on TikTok. Girls are just delusional. But that delusion and your pursuit of listening to these goofy motherfuckers with clothes on, that's crazy. With clothes on. You notice when girls naked, even on Instagram, when girls naked, they don't say shit. You ever notice that? She out there busting it wide open, showing you her titties, playing with her vulva. She don't talk. There's music playing in the background. The musician is singing. She don't talk. When she popping her ass, showing her that little moose knuckle, she ain't talking. She ain't talking. Girls only talk with clothes on and say dumb shit. But everything good about them is when they nude. Men have to create an atmosphere where they know that they have to support each other. Do not stop looking for support from these goddamn toddlers. Quit trying to build with bitches. Girls do not build. That's not what they're here for. They're here to interior decorate what you built. Tribe up, man. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that, man. We're doing a whole economic joint this whole week. Tomorrow, it's going to be Claude Anderson. Maybe I'll do it later on today. Ain't like nobody else on YouTube. Y'all motherfuckers in jail, nigga. I rule this bitch. Like and sub, man. Get your boy to 1,000. If I can't get to 1,000 during a drought, man, y'all don't love me. Anyway, love each other as you love yourself. Feed the pack.
Welcome to the daycare. Welcome to the daycare. Welcome to the daycare. Welcome to the daycare. Stay away from cities with dyke mayors. They spray the pipes major. Don't play with your life, player. Or shake the dice, player. But if you got a quota, then stay away from toddlers. These bitches are fight promoters. Welcome to the daycare. Welcome to the daycare. Welcome to the daycare. Welcome to the daycare. Train your toddler. Please train your toddler. Whippings, timeouts, take her allowance. Cause on stuff she will destroy your life if you allow it. Fucking, I'm tired of rapping. Yo, low, bring in the choir. Welcome to the daycare. Welcome to the daycare. Welcome to the daycare. Welcome to the daycare.
Why are you moving out? Of what? Why did Daddy say so?
Because we were talking about I wanted some boyfriend, so I'm moving out. Okay.
Because Daddy told you can't have a boyfriend in his house? So you're moving out?
Yes.
Toddler tales are crazy stories that could only happen to me. Each tale is endorsed by Toddlerology and the Marry Your Secretary courses. In a world where toddlers are only loyal to her employer, learn the skills needed to train your toddler to work at your relationship like she works at her job. There's courses for every level of your relationship status, including polygamy. Need support? Join scheduled study groups with other tolerology members. Click the link below. And now, back to today's story.